The 8-Bit Hillbillies.
I mean, I just had to go live while we're in the middle. I had to go live while we're in the middle of that. That was priceless.
What a way to kick it off. Down there with CPD.
Mr. CPD in the house.
It's like, is that kind of like RVD?
I'm just going to ignore you people. That's what that is.
I was kind of I'm kind of digging the blue glowy eyeballs that the old janitor was having there. Before you turned that light on, all you could see was like the glow of the monitor in your glasses.
So it was just a set of glowing eyes in the dark.
You know, kind of oval. Yeah, two blue glowy ovals just shining around in the dark.
I mean, it does kind of work.
Maybe I should just LED lights or something to put on there.
Yeah, that was too good. I'm like, this is priceless. This is the kind of stuff that, it's like, yeah, screw it. We're going live. I mean, technically we're 2 minutes late anyway, so
it is what it
is.
That's
true.
Hey,
and you still don't have Zesty on the splash page either. So whenever that needs to happen.
I know. Again, video editing takes time and energy, and I'm not good at it. So, yeah. So, hey, welcome back to the Hillbillies. We've been on a little bit of a break. We've still been around. We're just lazy.
Some of us are rounder than others.
Very lazy.
And we see squirrels, and life happens, and it is what it is when, you're mostly a bunch of 40-year-old plus guys.
Speak for yourself.
That's what I say mostly.
Mostly. About 75%.
Come out at night, mostly.
The 40-year-olds mostly come out at night.
All right.
Mostly.
And then if you're under that, you're going to Chick-fil-A to, well, CPD.
Whatever. It's just whatever.
It's cool, man. Run with it. Run with it. That's how legends are made.
Oh.
So yeah, we're back. We apologize for
how legends are made.
We apologize for the delay, the lack of content. It truly is. It was life. Things got away from us. I had like 3 months where I was like sick with assorted things, and I had a constant cough. But yeah, so hey, we're back. We are hoping to get back into a groove again. We actually, I think, might even have a few videos we can kind of work with. We're going to maybe start doing additional content. We've been working on Hero Quest live streams, getting everything kind of geared up for that to be a decent stream. I'm not going to say a quality stream, but a decent stream,
Maybe watchable.
At least watchable. You'll hear us cussing a lot and all that. I believe Zesty has been doing some card opening videos, so you get to watch him get excited over.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get those on the channel,
and hopefully,
because there's actually two very good ones.
Idris Elbow.
Yeah, with the Idris Elbow. Good old Idris Elbow. That would be a good wrestler name.
It would be. Well, you could go back.
Name. That's what that is.
That'd be what you'd make in SmackDown versus SmackDown versus Raw, or SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Back when we used to play wrestling games a lot,
We got WWE 2K24 or whatnot coming up here in March, so
I'm kind of tempted to check that one out. I haven't picked up a wrestling game in forever.
I'm going to probably pick it up. People in that game.
Yeah. Remember, Janigan's the Undertaker.
Oh, that was German.
soon.
Oh, just had to pull that out of the bag, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm the Undertaker. I'm the Undertaker.
Oh, you're the Undertaker.
So anyway, yeah, actually, I've thought of busting out the old multi-tat and PS2 and see if we could revive that for some streaming. We just played the old one,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're working on a few different content avenues and some things to
Tempting at
do.
least.
You remember when they
we're
let you
hoping-
do your own entrance?
Yes,
And
you could create. You could get really creative with the entrance.
and
It would bug out.
the entrance, yeah, but it like
And
somebody
like
got
glide
there,
through the
somebody
ramp.
got theirs all bugged out, and he knelt and like slid down the ramp. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, what the heck? It was HBK's where he gets down on his knees and throws his hands up, but
Yeah.
instead of staying stationary like HBK does, yeah, he just threw his hands up, got on his knees, and just slid down the ramp.
Glided down the ramp. I remember that. We were all looking at it like, what in the world? If I remember right,
looking at here.
if I remember right, it was Jeremiah. It was his custom wrestler because I mean he was the big HBK fan,
Yeah.
and so he did HBK's entrance on his custom guy. It was basically him, and yeah, just slid on right on down to the ring and hopped on in.
We should each get that and do our custom wrestlers and entrances and put them on each other's games and whatnot.
If we all get 2K24.
Yeah. I actually plan on picking it up, so
Yeah, I'm considering it. I hadn't bought a wrestling game in years, but I might give it a shot.
Well, yeah, I
So-
mean they've got some pretty cool new additions to that game this year.
23 wasn't bad.
Okay, well I'd heard. I mean, they went through a number of years where they were kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I like the 40 years of WrestleMania mode that's going to be in this one. Even though there are probably going to be a few omissions of people that are just they got Benoit as they're now being called in WWE, and obvious Benoit for obvious reasons, but
I'm going to start calling it. They got Brocked.
They got Lesnar.
They got McMahon.
big McMahon. That's why I was saying. I heard that you can poop on people in that game now.
Man.
They could take a big old greasy anyway.
Yeah.
Were any of us really surprised?
No.
The dude is the man has been telegraphing it for years in all these storylines. He's been projecting this creepy. It's kind of
I'm
awful
a
as it
predator,
is.
kind of.
No.
Yeah. Awful as it is, I don't know that any of us were truly surprised.
I am not surprised in the least. And I'm not
for
surprised
the
who all's
wrestling
involved.
fans out there, if we have any that actually are listening. But yeah, that was I wasn't too awful surprised, but at the same time, the depth,
The depravity
of
right.
that was there was pretty
heinous.
Yeah, it's
some low stuff right there. I mean,
that's the kind of stuff that you kind of, I would almost say, you need to be put somewhere.
You
need to go
need
somewhere.
Jesus.
Yeah, you need to go somewhere, and you need to stay there for a while with self-reflection.
Yeah. All right. That's the behavior of someone who truly thinks he's above everything and answers to no one. No rational human behaves in that capacity.
And then, of course, he took another star down with him. But the thing is I don't really think that particular star had a lot of. It didn't need a lot of pushing to do these things. Simply because of who he was and his personality, and I mean, I never liked that particular talent, if you want to call it that.
Well, I don't know that he was. I mean, I understand, like, as far as like an athlete, I would say yes. It is. He is or was very talented.
I
As an
mean, he pretty
athlete.
much he'd go in like Goldberg for the most part. He'll just go into what we call blarg mode, blarg, and slam.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
But
But that's the thing is, like, above that, there was always a reason why he had a handler, somebody that would talk for him,
Yeah, this is true.
because he had no mic skills. I mean, he wasn't The Rock. He wasn't John Cena. He wasn't I mean
I've heard it said. Do we now get to roll back that Undertaker loss?
I would love to roll back that Undertaker loss.
It still doesn't take away the Reigns loss, but
no, but that one particular loss is 100%.
But at least
pure USDA, AAA grade, prime cut bullshit.
As much as I hate that the streak had to end, at least I can understand from the wrestling business side of it, giving it to Reigns. The whole you're passing the torch. Brock didn't need that win.
No.
At that point in time.
No, he did not.
So I could at least see the justification in Reigns, and especially with the Bloodline story being what it has become. Yeah, can we peel back the Brock win there? And they still to this day debate whether or not it was supposed to happen, and Brock just did it. There's some Heyman videos out there, and I don't know, maybe just Heyman's playing Heyman, but there's some Heyman videos out there where he discusses that, and he really plays into it, but I don't know.
Boy, did Brock do it all right.
Yeah. So anyway, there may be some wrestling content coming. We got WrestleMania coming up. And then I think we're going to start, maybe our Cowboy Bebop series. Slowly, kind of interweave it in between episodes.
I was waiting on that.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
It will be my first time watching it.
And that's actually, I think that's what's going to be fun about this is we'll have a newcomer.
I attempted to watch it, but I think I only got most of the way through either the first or the second episode, and then I was like, I got distracted, or I just couldn't stick with it for some reason.
You got distracted?
I don't want to hear it. Listen, we have all got a touch of the diet autism in the squirrel brain. So it's like
Zesty loves squirrels.
Yeah, I love squirrels.
That's fair.
You got diet autism. You should do meth about it.
But yeah, I figured we'd watch one episode, review that episode. It's not going to be like a high level, one episode dedicated to the whole series. We'll dive into it, get into it, and like I said, just kind of break that up over the course of the next. I don't know. It may take us a couple of years. Who knows? Just depends on how excited we get about doing this, and we may even combine episodes into one episode.
At this rate,
yeah. Some episodes don't really warrant a lot of discussion. There are a few two-parters that you could probably combine. So we'll play it by ear. But yeah, we're going to do a deep dive into Cowboy Bebop. As for tonight, the theme. So I recently rediscovered my vault of old Nintendo Power magazines, and I thought, we've dedicated entire episodes to movies and games and stuff, but do a random grab of a Nintendo Power magazine, dive into
literature.
I can read.
I can't read.
I can't swim, Clark.
Is that right, Eddie? Hmm.
Yeah, we'll dive into it. Kind of briefly discuss some of the games in it, certain sections of the old Nintendo Power magazines. So with that, without further ado, we will dive into tonight's, and I'll kind of be the guide because not everybody has the issue that I have, obviously. So tonight it's going to be from November, volume 66. There's not a year.
I think it's 94.
That makes sense given the games and the first entry in tonight's. It's the cover of this issue. Should be a favorite of the 6-inch.
Donkey Kong Country.
Oh yeah. So
I
yeah,
played the fool out of that game.
the game was hard,
Yeah, it was.
frustratingly hard.
I never got it.
You never got it?
Really?
Never got it.
I definitely didn't get it.
Oh my
talk
gosh,
about
dude.
needing like reflexes of a cat through some of those segments, man. Like it wasn't like Battletoads hard. But it was, man, I'm getting some awful feedback.
It's true.
Anybody else hear that?
I did.
Okay. Anyway, it wasn't like Battletoads hard, but it was the right level of difficulty. It wasn't enough to like rip the cartridge out of the system and chuck it across the street. But it took a little while for me to get this one at that age.
I tried playing it. Actually, not too long ago, believe it or not. And I was messing around, and of course, the first like level is like it's actually not too awful bad.
It's
Just
pretty straightforward platforming.
Yeah, pretty straightforward platformer. You're just jumping, grabbing bananas and fighting the crocodilian creatures and such.
Crocodigators.
Crocodigators.
We don't
And
like
then you get in the mine
crocodigators.
parts.
Oh my gosh, the mine carts.
And that's where you figure out real fast, quick, and in a hurry that maybe a wireless controller is not what you want to play with.
No, especially not on an SNES. Wireless controllers in the NES and the SNES period really weren't all that much reliable.
Wasn't until the Wavebird came along.
Yeah, I would say the first wireless controller I had that was really reliable was Wavebird, and also had a Mad Catz wireless controller for the PS2 that was really good.
That's surprising, given Mad
Yeah,
Catz.
that's
I know, right?
that was the thing, because you would hit the button to jump, and guess what you would do?
Not
Fall.
jump.
Not jump.
Not when you intended, anyway. No, I actually discovered this issue too on my my SNES Virtual Console. Even though it's on wire, I think the emulation, the HDMI, the TV, somewhere, I'm like, man, I know I'm hitting this, and thank God for Rewind on the SNES Classic. But yeah, I'm like, I know I'm hitting this, and I was like, finally, I just got to the point. I'm like, this is input lag. This is like legitimately something with the input lag. Yeah, that started me down a trek of just trying to play on original hardware, wired, and other things. But anyway,
And blaming it on the controller and not you.
Oh, it's always the controller's fault.
oh, absolutely.
Since the days of Atari, it's been the controller's fault. Make
I hit
no
that button.
mistake about that.
I hit it.
We all hit the button. Win is the other part of that.
It's not my fault the game's slow.
Right?
I'm fast.
Is it the game or you?
Well, I can be a little slow some days. Depends
We're
on the
all
volume of
a little
coffee.
slow.
So I think kind of a good good tale or show of the times, I guess, with this issue. So yeah, November '94, it does say actually here in the actual table of contents. So this one's actually not a bad one. Game reviews: Donkey Kong Country, Sparkster Earthworm Jim, Sports Roundup.
I loved Earthworm Jim.
That was another infuriating game.
Oh God, yes,
Yes.
it was.
Yes, it was.
Final Fantasy III, Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures, Super Adventure Island 2, Wild Snake, all of them SNES, and then one Game Boy, Contra: The Alien Wars.
Is Killer Instinct not in there as an up and coming?
It is. That's we're going to get to that too.
Yeah.
But that is the actual game review. So the thing I always liked about Nintendo Power is they always opened up with the player's pulse, and that's where
The letters.
readers could write in, submit artwork, and always just had fantastic artwork. I mean, just I stared at that for a good 10 minutes some days, just looking at what people did. Let's see, we have the old game counseling line.
Oh man.
Nintendo Power subscriptions and customer service. I wonder if that game counseling line is still. I wonder what happens if you call that.
It's not in service anymore. I know that.
Okay. Did it
yeah,
become something bad?
I'm not sure. You know what? Throw the number in chat.
Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. It is in chat. So the first letter, and actually, it looks like 3 different letters around Secret of Mana. So, Secret of Mana is an outstanding game. I'm glad you have given extended coverage of that game. When I first played it, I thought it was like a cross between A Link to the Past and Final Fantasy II. The fighting and moving resembles Link, and the hit magic points multiple characters playing once. Large, mysterious world, blah, 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 resemble Cecil in his game. With this coverage, people who are having trouble getting to the Mana Fortress can see what's ahead and have players to look forward to, or something to look forward to. Players can also see the types of weapons and strengths against enemies too. Secret of Mana is a very challenging game. I think it's worthy of a strategy guide.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Oh, now see, if I was Nintendo, I would at least kept that line alive,
Right.
And it just have like Mario, like say, hey, thanks for calling.
It's me. We're not in the service anymore.
Thanks for calling.
Apparently, they're
F you.
a bit of back and forth, I guess, on Secret of Mana and then volume of coverage, and necessity of a strategy guide or not having a strategy guide. At a high level, I don't know that Secret of Mana truly needed a strategy guide. I thought it was pretty straightforward.
It was. There's a few places you could get a little turned around and not know where to go.
Yeah.
But it was pretty linear. It wasn't. It was nowhere near open to interpretation like the first Final Fantasy was. Oh, that was a nightmare. Final Fantasy III, which is in this issue, also known as Final Fantasy VI, was also pretty straightforward up until the World of Ruin. At the World of Ruin, you were pretty open.
You could
go
spin your
wherever.
tires for a while there if you
Yeah.
didn't play your cards right and weren't paying attention. So Nintendo did respond. They said one of our main goals when we decided to give extra coverage to RPGs was to turn readers onto the fact that RPGs are cool. They are indeed cool.
Right.
And I remember from that time was a little bit of a hard sell over here.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like we've kind of been in a small niche crew from back then that understood and appreciated them. And like if you look at game collections for sale on like Facebook Marketplace, you never see the Final Fantasies, the Secret of Mana. That you always see the same games.
Yeah.
In a lot of those lots. But in Japan, RPGs are the best-selling games. I would agree with that. But here, they're fit into a niche market. Many great RPGs have recently been released and many more on the way. Final Fantasy III should please just about every RPG fan. Even though our Secret of Mana coverage was not totally revealing, we wanted to show our support for the game and the RPG genre by covering the game in more detail than normal game review would. So I don't remember that. I remember playing. I beat Secret of Mana back then on a borrowed cart. I didn't need I wouldn't say I needed a guide, but I can appreciate what Nintendo was going for there.
You don't still have it, do you?
Secret of Mana?
Yeah, the borrowed card. I don't know where
No.
mine went.
No. Did I borrow yours?
I have no clue. I don't remember. My Secret of Mana has flown the way of the dodo. I have no clue where it went, along with Final Fantasy III, and I'm a bit pissed at that. But
No, I would be pissed about that.
Still got 2 in there though.
I probably borrowed your cart, but you know how I keep up with my stuff. If I ain't got it, I don't know where you.
Right.
Yeah, it must have been yours that I borrowed. So let's see here. Yeah, there's a few other letters. Someone brought their copy of. Oh, wow. Okay, this is actually kind of cool. So, Jonathan Robbins took Nintendo Power all the way from his Hendersonville, Tennessee home to the Mayan pyramids in Mexico. So that's cool. So somebody from our home camp, and yeah, there's a picture of Jonathan Robbins with their Nintendo Power in front of the pyramid. Let's see here. So we will keep going. So then it dives into Donkey Kong Country. They have the first level. It's kind of deceptive a little bit. Hey, here's this first level. Let's see. Here's the first water level, Clam City.
Clam City.
Easy, Buffalo. Easy.
Huh?
Damn, boy.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. You said Clam City, and I'm like, yes, I totally know what that is.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to go down to Clam City.
Yeah, so it's like they pick up several random levels. Oddly enough, they don't have that absurd minecart level. They could have used the minecart level,
Right. You can see what's coming up and not, fall or hit something.
Yeah, it's funny. I am looking here. Yeah, it says it's a review. Yeah, played through it. It was a challenging game. It took me a good while to beat it, though. I do remember that. Of course, it's from. It's one of those early, where they kind of really started getting a little crazy with the graphics.
It was rarefied, is what I would call it.
It was rare, yeah, rarefied.
Yeah.
Gosh, I remember the marketing was nuts for it. I mean, they even released the CD soundtrack for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seemed to be an up and coming thing because there's a CD soundtrack released for it. There was one released for Killer Instinct. There was one released for Final Fantasy III.
Yep.
So the game soundtrack started being pretty prevalent about that time too.
Well, we also started getting actual composers to write something more than bleeps and bloops. And I've always had a great appreciation for those early, or the soundtracks when they really started to take off, and like that was some good stuff back then. And I always felt that was underappreciated. I'm now looking at Sparkster, and I have no recollection of this game.
I don't either. What the hell is a Sparkster?
It looks like a platformer style.
I know it was Konami. Konami made it.
Yep. Ravenous Robots. I don't know how well this will show up.
It's very glary.
Yeah. Sparkster, Ravenous Robots.
Ooh.
Got some kind of interesting artwork, but yeah, I have no recollection of this game.
It's
I don't
crazy how many
either.
of those games they came out with that you're just like, I never heard of that.
Yeah. What is this game?
And especially back then.
Yeah, I mean, you still have that. Like, there's some games that are really niche, and like can have found like niche, like cultures and stuff. Like, I remember me and Dad enjoyed the fool out of a game. I think it was called Lost Planet or something like that. It was on 360, and it
I
was
know Lost Planet. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
it reminded me of basically like Starship Troopers, but like with mechs. But yeah, like there were games like that where we pulled them. We'd go down to GameStop and pick them up in the bargain bin because they were like $7 or $8. And I'm sure like there were a lot of games like that, like Sparkster, that probably were in the bargain bin somewhere, and some kid was like, "That's all I got."
Yeah, the games in this issue, Sparkster, the sports scene, and Wild Snake are not ringing a bell.
Mm-mm. Well, and whenever I've tried to like kind of gather up a collection, like just stuff to play and load up, they've never been on any list I can recall. Like top 100s and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the next section that we are up to, KI 101. You can beat anyone on Street Fighter 2, eyes closed. You don't even have to think about what moves it takes to Raiden to electrocute his opponent. Your rage is much more than primal, and Virtua Fighter is so easy that it makes you want to cry. You're the elite, the pinnacle player at the top of your game. Are there any challenges that remain? There sure is. It's called Killer Instinct. And it's the hottest fighting game to ever hit the arcades. There's actually quite a lot of fighting theory packed into the game. We want to help you understand it better. So this is like the earliest kind of glimpse at the 64 and the technology behind that. And in fact, it actually, I don't know if it will show this. I want to try, but the branding still says Ultra 64.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
that was
don't know why
before.
they changed that. I kind of liked.
I have
the
argued that for
Ultra.
years. I've always
You had,
preferred Ultra 64.
you had Nintendo, you had Super, then you had Ultra.
Ultra
It
seemed
kind of,
like the natural evolution.
right?
I as
I mean, I'll have to give it to Sony. If there's one thing they're doing is they're keeping a naming convention down pat.
yeah.
PlayStation 2, 3, 4, 5. Um,
Xbox
so
360.
Xbox One, Xbox Series.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Sony's the only one that has gotten the naming
Yeah.
convention right.
I don't know that it's necessarily right. It just makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense.
It
It's
keeps
like
things easy.
it's like
Now,
it's like watching a person drink one beer versus watching the dude do jello shots out of his buddy's belly button. It's like, what are you doing over there?
I'm really not sure where that went, but okay.
I don't know. Don't worry about it. I'm tired.
What are you doing over there?
Jello shots out of a dude's
Buford?
belly button.
I don't know. What do you want from me? I'm tired. Hey, at least I keep it interesting.
Oh, thank you. We
I know some
appreciate
guys,
that.
I know some guys, Connor, that I mean, you might as well be drinking a 20-ounce, drink if you taking shots out of their belly button.
You know what the sad part is? I've heard of worse on campus.
I got
Sure
no
you
doubt.
have.
So
So
And that, folks, is
continue.
where Zesty's brain just kind of comes in and says, "I'm going to wreck it."
Yeah, every time without fail.
So yeah, later on in the issue, they be the first person on the planet to play Killer Instinct at home. So they've got the players poll, you enter the competition, and a chance to win a Killer Instinct arcade game. That's the full arcade, and it's like while your friends pump quarters into Killer Instinct at the local arcade, you'll be playing the hottest game in your history in history in your own home.
in history.
Yeah.
These
Second
other
prize
games right now. We got nothing.
Yep.
We got nothing
Forever.
Ever.
Second prize, 5 winners got got $25 in quarters to play Killer Instinct at your nearest arcade, and Killer Instinct power supplies. So you also get a door size poster, a full gore, a Killer Instinct cap, and medallion. The cap also has the Ultra 64 branding. Don't you have the medallion?
The medallion I have is currently stuck. Is actually for
Super Metroid. Okay. It is the same style. It's the exact same style. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture of it. Third prize, 50 winners, Nintendo Power T-shirts. Man, did anyone? I have never heard. I'd love to find the homework on that or do the research on that. Who brought that arcade home? Did anyone bring that arcade home?
I'll take a look.
Here comes, yeah, you're the researcher at work. You're the master researcher.
Yep, his glowing eyes.
Better than the masturbator.
While he's doing that, I am gonna. I do recall, kind of that initial early excitement. Like because for years, every issue is like the Ultra 64 is coming. And the first glimpse at that tech was the Killer Instinct arcade game. It and Cruising USA. And I still, yeah, you remember Cruising. I still remember when the Oak Ridge Mall got that Killer Instinct
monotonous game in the world. Oh my gosh, I played too many hours of that.
Yep. But yeah, I still remember, and I was terrible at fighting games. But by God, I was going to pump some quarters into that game just to say I have sampled the Ultra 64. And I think, if I remember correctly, when they got that, that was when they had moved it to that was when the arcade was back at the very back of the food court of the Oak Ridge Mall.
It was.
Yep.
Because I used to go there a lot. Whenever I'd go with Mom to that mall. We would always eat at that Chinese place, sweet and sour chicken every weekend, which was awesome. And then I would go into the arcade and play at the time, depending on what it was at the time, whether it was Mortal Kombat 2, Killer Instinct, whatever the case may have been.
What I remember for that arcade, besides the Killer Instinct, and getting that first machine for that, was one of the only arcades I do recall playing the Aliens arcade game. Because that blew my mind. Because at that time, 94, I was huge into the Kenner Aliens line. And I bought everything and anything I could find Aliens. And for them to have an Aliens machine at that time was I loved it. So that's what I ate up when I went to that arcade. Research must be coming up dry.
It is pretty dry right now.
What's that 6-inch?
Which one was that? Which Aliens was that?
It was the one based off the actual Aliens movie. It was just like a side-scrolling shooter.
Okay. Yep. And you had to get down and like the face huggers would crawl and didn't you have to go through like the ductwork and stuff?
I think so. I know there was also like a driving setup where like you were driving down a tunnel.
Yeah.
You were shooting forward.
You were in the tank.
Yeah.
The
APC
transport.
Yep.
What's crazy is I think those are the only arcade games like that style are the only ones that survived. Really.
You're not wrong. I mean, those things lasted for forever. I mean, back before the arcades, most of the arcades finally died in the 2000s. You could still find
stuff like that.
Some of those machines. Yep.
The ones that I always remember playing were like the Terminator one, The
Yep.
the Terminator one was everywhere.
And Revolution X.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the one that I saw recently that I thought was awesome, they had like a Halo one, and I think it was an ODST one like that. And then they also had a bunch of zombie ones all over the place, various zombie ones.
I think one of the funnest ones we played was actually when we went up to Frankenmuth. It was like a Nerf game, except it was big. I mean, like it was real big, and you'd set in it, but it had like like the guns on it, like the ones that were on the Terminator or one of those kinds. But you would sit back and it had it had all these like crazy levels, and you'd be shooting Nerf darts at stuff, and that was the whole premise. But the better you did, the more tickets you got. So then you could take it over and turn them in and get Tootsie Rolls or something. Or something random.
Right. So moving along.
Real quick, was that Killer Instinct giveaway thing, did it have an official contest name?
It was for the Players Poll contest. Answers to Players Poll, Volume 66. And because I still have the entire card here. I wonder if I mailed that into Nintendo. If anybody could get that right now.
Probably not.
They take pity on me and be like,
"Did this? It got lost in the mail.
I mailed this to you from 1994. I want the arcade." I'll allow you while you keep going. Final, very similar. The review sections, and it's funny because like as I go through these sections where I'm at right now, and I've not covered the whole magazine yet. They're more like high level. Here's some quick hints, tips. So I'm looking at like the Earthworm Jim section, and that game was a nightmare. And I remember there was easy to access.
Earthworm Jim.
What's that?
Was it tips and hints for Earthworm Jim? There are none. You're just going to be frustrated.
You're just going to be frustrated. And I remember there was easy access to cheat codes for the game, and that still didn't help.
You can cheat, but it ain't gonna work.
Some of those levels were a nightmare to navigate, and I'd just be like wandering around, like
everything blended into itself.
The dev said, "Good luck, suckers."
Well, it's like you didn't know where to go.
What's funny is you don't. What was that one we were talking about earlier? The shockers or whatever. Nobody remembers that, but everybody remembers Earthworm Jim, the one that nobody could play.
So I'm looking at some of this. So reading the article here, who is this Jim anyway? One day, an unsuspecting worm was crawling along when a strange object fell from the sky right on top of him. It was a spacesuit, unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Suddenly, a blast of space radiation shot through the dazed worm, turning him into a giant mutation, and Earthworm Jim was born. But following close behind the suit was the nasty Psycrow, sent by an unknown leader to get the suit back. And then the next part, so smooth. The graphics on this game are so smooth you'll think you're playing a cartoon. As one fan exclaimed, "It's like butter."
What? It's like butter.
Does it have a picture of Zesty as it is like a 10-year-old sitting there? It's like butter.
I don't appreciate being called that like this. Listen, that sounds too much like something I would say. I don't appreciate it.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah. I'm in this image. I don't like it.
Oh golly! Next time you come over, I'll have to get out Earthworm Jim and just let you just
That'll be
Let's
one
just
for a
beat
stream.
around on it for a little while and see what happens.
I'm good. I'll pass.
No,
it actually is a fun game.
it had.
Like I said, I played that game.
Listen,
Like,
I got like the TikTok brain rot, man. I can't function on them old video games.
Well, you can.
Legend of Zelda ring a bell?
Yeah, I can't do it. My brain just ain't wired for it.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda is a little bit different because it's top down.
My brain
Earthworm Jim is a side scroller, so
Is it?
Earthworm Jim side scroller.
I might be able to do that.
It's worth checking out. It really is. That, and I'll kind of want to just watch the hilarity ensue.
So it looks like this is going to be very obscure. The only hope I think we may have is if you continue having your Nintendo Powers from Volume 67 on.
I've got
they may have the winners announced in those.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, we'll keep going. Might take a little bit because my plan for this, I don't know. I'm having fun doing this right now. Is we'll just draw a random issue whenever we do this particular style. I mean, we're not going to do this consecutively. It's just going to be, hey, it's going to be a now you're playing with power kind of episode. So, I mean, I guess you could call this now you're playing with power 1.
There you go.
So, let's see. We got a sports game. Yeah, none of us are sports guys. We're going to keep going. Apologize to those that enjoy sports games.
Eat a dick.
And here's my nuts.
Yeah, here's my nuts. Yeah, that's exactly right.
The final.
It's not only zesty but salty too.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it. I was trying to be at least a little nice about it, and zesty's just like eat it.
Yeah, piss on it.
If I wanted to play sports, I'd play sports. I don't want to play sports. I want to be a freaking plumber that can grow 3 times his normal size and squish mushrooms and turtles and
shoot fireballs from my fingertips, grow a tail, fly with it.
I want to be a dinosaur riding plumber that can put on a raccoon suit and take flight.
Grab a feather and get a cape.
Can I put that on my resume? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
A dinosaur riding plumber.
Riding a dinosaur wearing a yellow cape.
Eating shrooms. Well, when you put it that way.
So funny story, real quick, just because we were talking. This is just a side because it got me kind of talk. This reminded me of it, but we were talking about the new Magic the Gathering card series that's coming out, and it's based on Fallout 4. So they have these commander decks basically that are based off of in-game characters and stuff like that, and mechanics that are kind of built around that as well. And one of the ones was Mothman.
Yes.
And so Zesty is talking about this new Mothman commander deck, and my youngest from the back seat,
oh my
for
god,
whatever reason,
oh my god,
goes, he Mothman's not real, right? And we were like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess. And he's like, no, really, it's not real. The people who said they saw it were on drugs.
It gets better.
and they just saw a big bird, and then somehow it turned into a big humanoid creature with wings and glowing eyes.
And that was verbatim what he said. A little like 8 or 9-year-old,
And so we're sitting there, and I said, "So what's the takeaway from that, bud?" And everybody kind of unanimously in the vehicle says, "Drugs are bad."
Don't do drugs. Otherwise, you're gonna create a cryptid.
You're gonna create a cryptid.
That's how cryptids are made.
You shouldn't do drugs because drugs are bad.
So just
Either you be
Yeah, so
either you create a cryptid or start a
I'm a
religion.
dinosaur riding plumber. Dinosaur riding plumber with a yellow cape. Mushrooms.
Jesus.
We'll
There
not
you go.
do that because drugs are bad.
There you go.
Good.
Wow.
I laughed. I laughed so hard though. You know he's not real, right?
well, yeah.
What?
It's like, yeah,
Well,
we know
yeah,
he's not real.
I mean, no, he's really not real. The people that were doing that, they were on drugs.
Just
Saw a big bird.
just the conviction with which he said it too. Just like he wanted you to know that he knew that they were on drugs.
They were on drugs.
He did the research.
Yeah, he did the research.
Oh heavens!
So
He said it like like Alex Jones when he's like talking about the birds aren't real. Like,
birds aren't real.
yeah, the birds aren't real. You know that, right? No, seriously.
So the next section, Final Fantasy 3. And it's kind of like, it's almost like a Cliff Notes version of the strategy guide. It's just like, here's several key areas, and you get like one paragraph, and but it's not like a review. That's not what I've still not actually come across the actual review yet, even though it says in the table of contents it's a review. But of course, I know you had the official strategy guide to Final Fantasy 3. And that was, I miss strategy guides like that, because you always got all these extra gems and artwork and details about the game that just, you didn't get anywhere else.
Printing weird crap.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who better to tell you than the people who made it?
It's so buttery.
So buttery.
Like butter.
It's smooth. It's smooth like butter.
So let's see. But yeah, we've kind of touched on Final Fantasy before. And did Final Fantasy make the cover of a Nintendo Power? I'm trying to think, because if it's listed as a review here,
I don't know, but a Claymation Plumber did.
That was issue number 1.
And the last issue.
I think that a Final Fantasy Mystic Quest made the cover.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was just thinking, because it's just, as big a game as that one was. I mean, obviously Nintendo with their own magazine is going to highlight their franchise first. I get that. I understand that. But yeah, so you get a Cliff Notes version of Final Fantasy 3 on this one. Fantastic game. Classified information. That was always a fun one. Man, I would look forward to that one every month, because if there was a game I was stuck on, yeah, there's a game I was stuck on, I was like, please let my game be in there. Let there be something. Some up, down, left, right, BA, select, start, something to help me in this game. And typically it ended in disappointment. This month's classified information had Stunt Race, Tecmo Super Bowl.
What?
Super Bowl like football or?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just verifying.
Yep.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Some Street Fighter 2, Contra 3, The Alien Wars. This is a funny one to me. I did read this one because I thought, well, it's going to be the Konami code or whatnot. Quick end. If you're playing Contra 3, The Alien Wars, you can use this trick to reset the game without getting up off your duff. While the action is hopping, hold the L, R, and start buttons, then press select to reset the game. This code may not seem very special, but if you're not careful, you may enter it by accident. Starting from beginning of the game could break any gamer's heart.
Be at the very end, hit that thing.
button spamming.
What did I do? What did I hit? It's like the Freakazoid thing. You just smack the
Chuck.
right keyboard combination, and why is that there?
Double Dragon 5, The Shadow Falls. Talk about a train wreck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's when Double Dragon jumped the shark.
Yep. Let's see here. We have a Mortal Kombat 2 special. Here's a entire 2-page spread of a lot of characters and all of their moves. Let's see.
Shang Tsung's must be like a page long.
No, it's just special moves and finishing moves.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all
Because
it
I mean,
lists.
the thing
Well,
is,
it does have Sung's morphs. That is that
Yeah.
is right below. Yeah.
that's the thing that would take up so much.
Yeah.
Because he can morph into every character in Mortal Kombat 2.
Next up, we have Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures. I feel like that's a underrated. Everybody remembers the Star Wars trilogy Super Nintendo games,
Oh,
and as difficult as they were, I mean, they were still good tributes to the franchise they were supposed to be presenting. But Indiana Jones, it was all 3 movies in one game, in the same style as the Star Wars trilogy. I do remember playing that quite a bit. It was stupid hard, just like the Star Wars trilogy games. Super Adventure Island 2. I do not remember playing this one, but I remember playing the full out of the Adventure Island series.
I remember it. I remember hearing of it.
Adventure
I
Island.
remember seeing it. I never played it.
Is it just one of those ones that just kind of got, I think, lost to bigger games at the time? Because, I mean, we know what the big games were at that time.
I think the closest thing that you and I ever got to playing it was Joe and Mac.
Oh, I love some Joe and Mac.
To me, it kind of reminds me of that type of game.
Yep. Yeah, Joe and Mac was a lot of fun. Counselor's Corner. I do remember this section. And it's a little more direct, kind of questioning on certain games. Lufia and the Fortress of Doom, Breath of Fire, Wario Land for Game Boy, the Jungle Book for NES. So that's the other thing I like. They differentiated like what system you were talking about. Like Nintendo or Game Boy is purple, NES is red, and then Super is kind of that greenish blue. Kind of, it's not like it's a green more or less.
The thing is NES games in '94
were sparse,
very sparse, and to have any game that was made for NES that came out towards the end of it, those are rarities. And I think '94 is actually the last year they made games for the NES. I don't know for certain, but that's just off memory.
I'm pulling that up now. What was the last official NES game ever released?
I think it was a Wario game.
According to this, it was Disney's Lion King.
Really?
Wow.
But that might be PAL. As for North America, it strangely seems that Wario's Woods was the last NES game released in that region.
Boom!
However, Adventure Island 4 is generally regarded as the. I didn't even know there was an Adventure Island 4. Again, I like the Adventure Island series. So, of course, unlicensed games are still being released for the console. Well, after that,
I mean, hell, unlicensed games are still being released for it to this day.
Right now, I don't have. I'm in that near the end, but not quite that near the end. I do have a pretty nice copy of Mega Man 6 with most of its stuff.
Nice.
Um,
I got 5. Just the cartridge, though, nothing else.
Let's see here. But yeah, no, at that point, it was definitely few and far between. And I feel like this issue, as I'm looking through it with this era, is missing quite a bit from, like, remember the comics? I feel like there was a lot more kind of random fun things. Like, this is very straightforward, like, just kind of to games and stuff. Maybe my memory's messing with me, but, maybe just a sign of the times, the era.
Earlier issues when SNES wasn't around, but the earlier issues I know had a lot more comics and things like that going in it.
Yeah. So
what was it, Howard and Ness?
Yeah, Howard and Ness. Yep.
Yeah.
So here we have the Power Players Challenge. So Power Players, let's see here. Here's some numbers from some folks. Anybody from Tennessee? Any home? Yeah, nobody from Tennessee making the Power Players list. Sim City, highest population, 604,280.
Good gosh.
I was lucky if I hit 150,000. Not 150 people, but 150,000. Yeah.
I was thinking I had 540,000 at one point, but no, that was how much money I had. I never had that in population. I hit around what you were saying.
Yeah, like I would always stall in that game. Man, talk about games that'll put you to sleep. Sim City. That music was just so relaxing.
It was, and I played the fool out of that. But except when you got to, I think, the Metropolis level, that's when it's pulled out that.
Yeah. Yeah, suddenly it was not a relaxing city anymore.
No.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I never played SimCity on any of the Nintendo stuff. I played it on PC.
You should. I really recommend you check out the Super Nintendo version. I'm not kidding when I say it is a really relaxing game. So much so, if you play it late at night, it probably will put you to sleep. And that's, I do mean that as a compliment to the game. It's just
Until you get to Metropolis.
Until you get to Metropolis,
right?
Then it's a DBZ fight episode.
Well, I mean, Bowser is the monster in the game, so
he is. And you can get a Mario statue as well.
Yep, there was a few exclusive things to the Super Nintendo version.
Not Bowser in SimCity.
You just kind of let him do his thing. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, let him rampage and do his thing. Eventually, he'll disappear, and all you can do is fix the damage.
Yep. He's the equivalent.
That's what that is.
That's horse. He is the equivalent of Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, he's a Godzilla-sized Bowser.
In almost every Godzilla movie, they kill him. It's not.
Well, the game was called Sim City, not Sim Godzilla. So.
Gojira.
Give me a moment here. We now have a top games list coming up.
You'll have to excuse me. I keep yawning.
Well, stop it.
Stop it.
All right, let's see here. Nope, almost there. So, November 94, Nintendo Power Top 20.
So let's each one of these that you list, let's see whether or not we actually played it.
Okay. So the top 20, Super Nintendo. Number 1, and I don't know how they did their points, but with 15,403 points for 7 months, Super Metroid.
Played it.
Played it.
No.
No.
Really?
Yeah, didn't play Super Metroid.
You need to go back and play Super Metroid because I know you like you some Metroid.
I do.
It is a fantastic game. Actually, the other day I was just because I found my old Super Metroid poster and all the cleanup stuff I've been doing. I was like, man, I really need to sit down and give that a thorough playthrough again. No, just a fantastic science fiction game. You need to play it. Yeah, no, you really should. Back catalog, go through, play it. It
even had
fantastic.
special moves in it. There were some
'Cause
special
I
moves.
liked like just regular old Metroid. I played, on the NES, and then I actually didn't play another Metroid game
Until Prime.
until no, I think it was well, yeah, it probably was Prime. But then I played Fusion.
Yeah, you had
on the
Fusion and
GBA,
Zero Mission.
or the
Zero Mission was a remake of
SP.
the first one.
Yep. If you playing Fusion and Zero Mission, Super Metroid was the model for those games.
Yeah. So, I actually played the Fusion. I think I played at your house
Okay.
because I played it.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Super Metroid's basically
you had it on
Metroid 3.
your Advanced SP.
Yep. Number 2, Super Street Fighter 2.
I played it.
I think everybody's played if not that one, at least some form of Street Fighter. Number 3, 34 months. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Yep. Played it.
I played that one.
Number 4, Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball.
Played it.
No.
Played it.
No.
Got it.
Number 5, NBA Jam. Played it.
Played it.
Didn't we just go over how we don't play sports games?
NBA
Here's
Jam
the
is a
thing.
little different.
Here's the thing about NBA Jam. Something about that game and the way they marketed it and everything around it. NBA Jam was the sports game for people that didn't play sports games. Everybody played NBA Jam back then.
Well, yeah, but you just listed like 3 games and all of them were sports games. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so baseball takes a bit of a special place because we actually played baseball too.
Back then.
The actual
We
game.
actually played baseball.
Played
And then
baseball.
Nintendo, because of their relationship with the Seattle Mariners, heavily plugged Ken Griffey back then. And so it was kind of it's another one of those sports games, honestly. Even if you didn't care about sports, Nintendo somehow convinced you that Ken Griffey was the greatest baseball player to ever live and that you had to have his game. And it was a good game. I mean, don't get me wrong. And Ken Griffey was a good baseball player. Don't get me wrong there either. But yeah. Number 6, Donkey Kong Country.
Played it.
Yep,
I played it, but I didn't have it.
But you played it.
But I played it.
7, Stunt Race FX. I did play that one and that one did take advantage of the FX chip back then, thus the FX. Number 8, Earthworm Jim. Played it.
Mm-hmm.
Played it.
Number 9, Super Mario Kart.
Played it.
Number 10, Mortal Kombat 2.
Played it.
Yep.
Played it. Number 11, Secret of Mana. Played it.
Played it.
Nope.
Number 12, Mega Man X.
Played it.
Played it.
Played it. Played the fool out of it. Spent 4 hours one night trying to get the Hadouken and
Oh
was
my gosh.
was 100% convinced I had got all the heart containers. And I'm like, why is this not working? And
But
finally,
you
I'm
didn't have all
like,
the heart
okay,
containers.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to double check these levels. And damn it to shit, if I didn't miss one heart container, went back, knocked it right out in 10 minutes.
Armored Armadillo stage.
Oh,
That's where you
good
found that.
gosh, it drove me up the wall. Because I just knew I had them all. Anyway, 13, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Played it.
Played it.
Still have it.
I still
I don't
have
think
it
I played
too.
that.
I watched
14.
the show. Does that count?
I'll give that one to you. I'll give that one to you, Zesty. 14, Mario All-Stars.
Played it. Got it.
Played it. Number
Yep.
15, Final Fantasy 3.
Yep.
Played it.
Considering that this past Extra Life was the first time I played a Final Fantasy game, I did not play that one.
We're getting close to you, though. Number 16, I'm pretty sure we are all going to say we've not played this. FIFA International Soccer.
Didn't play it.
Nope.
No, I did not play that.
Didn't do it.
Nope.
What the hell's a soccer?
Football.
17.
Football.
All right, Jeremy, here you go. Final Fantasy 2.
Played it.
Played it.
Here's the thing. Final Fantasy II was released on the Super Nintendo like in 1991. So here it is 3 to 4 years later, still
And
appearing
it's
in the top 20.
in the top 20. Yeah.
My first ever played and still to this day my favorite Final Fantasy game.
My favorite too. Largely because of you, but you know, I would agree with that. 18, SimCity. Played it.
Played it.
Nope.
19, Disney's Aladdin.
Nope.
Played it.
Played it.
Did not.
Number 20, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
No.
Nope.
Negative.
Did not play that one.
So we won't do the top 20 for every game system because they have Game Boy and NES too. We can do. I'll tell you what. We'll do top 5 for NES. And you got to think. You got to think. This is 94.
Yeah.
This is
probably
still
none
their-
of these.
This is still their rankings for NES games. Number 1 with 15,140 points. Number 1 for 74 months. Where are we going?
Probably
Where are we
Mario
leaning?
3.
You are close.
2?
Legend of Zelda.
Oh, Legend of Zelda.
Number 2 at 62 months.
Mario 3.
Mario 3. You are not far off.
Man.
Number 3 for 9 months. And we just talked about this one.
Mega Man 6.
Mega Man 6. Yep. Number 4, they don't give months on the remaining ones, but number 4, Metroid. And number 5 is a surprise to me. NES Open Tournament Golf.
What
I
for?
think I played that one.
4. See. 4.
Yeah, number 6. Number 6 is Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. And then after that, it gets a little more kind of all over the place.
What about Game Boy?
Game Boy, well, we'll go ahead. Top 5 for Game Boy. Number 1 at 19 months. What are we thinking?
Tetris.
I don't know.
No.
Pokemon game.
For 19 months.
You're a little early for Pokemon, Zesty.
Oh, am I?
By about 2 years.
Oh, dang.
Link's
Yeah.
Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
There we go.
Number 2, Wario Land at 9 months. Number 3, Donkey Kong for 6 months. Number 4 is Tetris. So Tetris did make the top 5. And then number 5, Super Mario Land 2.
I like Super Mario Land 2.
That was a good one.
It was a good one.
That was a lot of fun.
To be what it was on an old old school Game Boy.
No,
It
now
was
you
a
want
lot of fun.
it was fun. Now the next one at number 6, fun is kind of it's a questionable description. Metroid 2: Return of Samus. I beat that on the Game Boy. But that was a venture in cave diving with no lights, no map, nothing, just
nothing.
wandering aimlessly for hours. And somehow I stumbled upon the ending of that game and beat it.
Same.
Pure miracle, honestly. That back then with no maps, no guides, nothing. It was a feat to beat that game. It wasn't that it was hard. You just couldn't find where the hell you were going.
To me, that game kind of had some moments of sheer terror in it.
Oh gosh, yeah. You jump down a hole and there's a Metroid.
Yeah,
and it's beating my ass.
the first Metroid game, you didn't run into Metroids until like the final stages, and they were just freeze them, shoot them with missiles,
Easy.
done. But in this one, Metroid 2, you were going and eradicating the Metroid species on, I think, their home planet.
SR1138, if I'm not
Something like that. I can't
mistaken.
remember exactly. But the thing is you would start off running into your normal Metroids that you ran into in the first Metroid game. But these motherfuckers started evolving.
I added a one I didn't need to. SR388.
So evolved Metroids. They started getting legs, getting insect-like qualities, getting wings, getting
And
so the
they
final
were
one was basically a dragon.
the Queen.
Ridley.
No, it wasn't Ridley. This thing would
it was
eat Ridley alive.
It was a Queen Metroid, is what it was. And if you better had found every missile upgrade you could find, because it took every single one of them. You could not afford to miss.
If you ran out of missiles, your only option was let it eat you.
Yep.
And then put bombs in its belly.
Yep. That was rough. Yeah, I just remember hours upon hours of wandering aimlessly. And again, it's not that I thought it was particularly hard. It was only hard and so that you didn't have any sort of guidance.
Yeah. But you'd beat that Queen Metroid, and then you would find a lone baby Metroid, little tiny thing in the game's ending, a baby Metroid. And then there is where Super Metroid picked up.
Yep. That's what leads to Super. Let's see. What else we got here? We're almost through this thing. Pack Watch, a look into games of the future. Disney's Lion King, Arrow the Acrobat, Top Gear 3000, Artie Lightfoot. What the hell that is. C2 Judgment Clay.
Clay
Fighter. Here's one for you that I do recall spending quite a bit on. Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Oh yes, I played the fool out of that.
That was a game ahead of its time.
It was. And I wish they would. I want to think they put on like, what was it, like MetaQuest or something like that, Starbridge Simulator.
Yeah.
Where each person, if you had a group of friends that all had that system, you could all go onto the same bridge, and each one of you took a role on the bridge of a starship.
Mm-hmm.
One of you was the captain, gave the orders. One of you was the science officer. One of you was the helmsman. One of you was the communications officer. One of you was like weapons and things of that effect. So
yeah, that was a fun game, especially doing the Kobayashi Maru in it.
Thing pissed me off, but I wish they would do another.
I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
We got 3 more coming in. That's okay.
Let's see. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Hang on a second. I'm looking to see if it talks about it. They have an image. I'm looking where they actually maybe talk about it, but I'm not seeing it listed. They have an image of the catapult X-Band.
So it's the image of that guy. It looks like he's flying and going through a.
It's an SNES with the X-Band, but before it had any of the branding. But I guess they initially started with calling it the catapult.
Nice, because Catapult's the company that done it.
Yeah.
Throw it up there. So let's take a look at it.
Let's see if I can. This is gonna be a feat. Oh, the glare.
Yep. Hang on a second. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. He's gonna go find his catapult.
He's going on a mission.
On a mission. While he's doing that, so they got an ad for. Oh wait, he's already back. Man, he moved fast. Yep, I still have my box as well.
So yeah, voila.
Yep.
X-Band, and right here,
There's the catapult. Yep.
Catapult was the company that did it.
Again, something ahead of its time, and you know what? Minority of us that did that. You know, like we were the first guys to hop into online gaming. I mean, yeah, you had some on PC too, but like to me, I felt like that was an even smaller group compared to I don't know. It's we were doing it before everybody else was. Yeah. So the image of Nintendo Power, it didn't have the X-Band branding on it yet.
And then there was the phone port power button on it. You could turn it on or off. That way, if it was turned off, whatever game you had on it would just bypass it and load up as normal. But if you had it turned on, it would boot into the game band menu or X-Band menu.
Yep.
X-Band.
Man.
Yep.
You would have loved it, 6-inch.
Man, online gaming. This is where I got my online gaming start right here.
That's where it began.
Yeah,
and it's funny.
My online gaming start was 33.6 Sportster on a PC.
There's the back, some screenshots, what it looked like.
Yeah, and it's funny. Yeah, I remember at that point in my life, it felt like forever that we were on X-Band and doing all that stuff. And it didn't even feel like yeah, and it didn't even feel like it was near the end of the SNES life cycle. You know?
Yeah, and it wasn't.
And yeah.
It's like just all of a sudden done.
Yep. But it felt like forever we were on that, and really it was just a blink. So to kind of begin wrapping up this issue, there's a ad in the back for Nintendo PowerFest 94. Look for PowerFest 94 at a store near you, where you can qualify to be the new Nintendo World Champion. Compete at a location for a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to the finals at SeaWorld in San Diego, California. So where did they go? Nowhere that our parents would have took us to compete back then.
Nope.
Culpeper, Virginia. Anderson, South Carolina. Really? Anderson, South Carolina? I've been to Anderson,
South Carolina.
I've been to Anderson, South Carolina. You've been there. We've both been to Anderson, South Carolina. Why did they pick there of all places?
Who knows?
We've been there for karate seminars.
Yep.
Titusville, Florida. Florence, South Carolina. Cape Coral, Florida. South Arlington, Texas. Ormond Beach, Florida. I'm detecting a theme here.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're overrepresenting Florida there.
Well, and South Carolina for that matter. Orange, California, Baltimore, Maryland, Sunrise, Florida, and San Diego, California. Heaven help if you live in the middle of the country.
Right.
Piss on you.
So we never stood a snowball's chance in hell at winning any of that stuff.
They
Not
said,
because we
"Here's my
weren't any
nuts."
good, because we couldn't go.
We couldn't go. No. And then we have the back of the issue, the get list, Donkey Kong, Mortal Kombat, some Super Return of the Jedi, Super Punch Out, some Maximum Carnage, Final Fantasy 3, just to name a
Who
few
is that
there.
holding all the games?
Yeah, it's just random models. Random model.
Dude, it kind of looks like an Eminem cover.
Well, I mean,
You're not wrong.
I mean, like,
it's the
like
mid-90s. This is like hip-hop and rap culture was rampant.
I was
Yep.
just like, I was looking at it. That's why I was curious. I was like, is that Eminem holding like?
I mean, it could have been Paul Rudd. I mean, he was in one of the earliest Super Nintendo commercials, so
Really?
There you go.
yep. Yeah, you can find.
Yeah, people don't know. I mean, a lot of people don't really know that Paul Rudd's he's actually pretty old.
But he don't look it. The man don't age.
Yeah, he don't look like it, but he's actually a lot older than people think he is.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. Nintendo Power number 66.
Heck yeah.
That was a fun walkthrough. I think this will work for whenever we want to do a I don't know, abbreviated. Now you're playing with Power number 2 or whatnot. We'll figure that out.
On the back end of things, behind the curtain, we'll call it pull an episode out of your ass, is what we'll call it.
It works for both. We had an
Yeah.
episode, and
We'll give it the old rectal reach.
That's right.
yeah. So, but yeah, and I've got a big ass bin of Nintendo Powers. It's kind of funny though. I did manage to pull the Donkey Kong Country. I could have pulled an issue with, I've never even heard of this game, and
Like,
somehow
what
it
is
made the
it?
cover of Nintendo Power.
Oh,
So
maybe we'll run into one of those.
yep. So yeah, I'm just going to keep reaching in. There, honestly, that bin, it's got other stuff. So I could even pull an Electronic Gaming Monthly. I have a bunch of toy fairs. That could be hilarious. Oh my God. We used to just lose our shit laughing at Toy Fair magazine.
We absolutely would.
They had some of the best writers for their comic sections where they would do like mini comics with action figures. And oh my gosh.
They were hilarious. Of course, we were also younger in high school and just a little less more immature than we are now. We didn't mature much.
I don't know about that. I don't
We
know
didn't
if my
mature
humor's
at
changed
all.
that much. So yeah. I don't know what we'll do for the next one. We could start the Cowboy Bebop journey. I'm gonna try and get us a little bit back on a schedule. We do need to get back together again for Hero Quest.
Actually picked up Hero Quest.
So you picked up a copy.
Um,
Cool.
Yep, picked up my own box of goodies.
Good deal.
Where's the sheets at for the games we started?
I still have them.
Okay.
And actually, they're in the bag of parts for when me and 6 Inch get together to try and resolder that wire for my proton pack.
Yes.
Whoops.
Yeah, we need to get back on that because I need to get that part ironed out before I finally finish the thrower. But no, I have them. I do have them, so we're good.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll look to that. We will do the Cowboy Bebop-ish series. We'll get that started, but plenty to talk about, plenty to keep going. We're hoping to, like I said, be a little more consistent again. now that we're past the new year and all the fun of the holidays and whatever.
And hopefully past some sickiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely running around right now. We've had a lot of, I mean, even poor old Janigan there, he was struck down with the illness.
Had the flu this past week.
Yeah.
You're doing good though.
It's definitely going around. There's lots of the funk going around.
This is why I don't go anywhere.
Strep, flu, the vid apparently is making a comeback.
Well, I go places and I didn't get nothing, so
You better knock on some wood there, Zesty.
it's all right.
You done called down the thunder.
It's
Yep.
all right. It is what it is.
From what I hear right now, I think it's mostly flu is number one, and then close by is strep.
But yeah, my poor old brother, he got something, but I don't know what it is. But he said they told him it was strep, but it didn't act like
He took like a week's worth of
strep.
Antibiotics
Like
and
it
didn't
was
get
more
no
like
better.
the flu.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean it was more like the flu because he said it was running pretty high fever, aching, hurting, a lot of head congestion, chest congestion. It was more respiratory than it was anything else. So said whatever
Yeah.
it was
It did a number.
ew, it was pretty nasty.
It done tore him up.
It
Yes.
is what it is. I won't say we need to go any further. I'll say we won't need to go any further than that, just in case the filter overlords.
Yeah.
We'll keep it high level, but hey, there's some crud going out there, and it sucks. Happens to everybody. It is what it is.
It are what it are.
Yeah, I think that's about it. We will, try and announce obviously when the next episode is going to happen, whenever we're going to do our next bit of content. But other than that, that was a decent issue. Who knows? We'll may dig further back, maybe even the N64 era, Ultra 64, which is still my favorite name for it. Should have been.
Should have stayed that way.
It really should have. If they ever release them, I saw where there's a replacement shell for the N64, and it has an Ultra 64 logo on it.
There you go.
And I've really thought about trying to get that whenever they come out. I think Stone Age Gamer had them, or was going to have them, or will have them. I may get one in a jungle green with an Ultra 64 logo on it, or something like that. But
does it come in gold?
I did not see a gold. I would like a gold 64 though.
Yeah,
because
that'd be pretty happening.
Because they had them in Japan, and then it was a Toys R Us exclusive for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Occasionally, you'll see them pop up in different auction sites, or people will have stuff like that. But
normally, they're not horrible.
I'll tell you one that the jungle green, if it's in good condition, and I saw one that was actually still in the box with its controller and the whole 9 yards. That was just about disgusting how much money they were wanting for it. I mean, it was
jungle
awesome,
green is ridiculous,
but it was so expensive. It's just like, God.
And unfortunately, that's the one I want because I like green. I also like gold, but just high level prices. $103 buy it now. N64 limited edition Toys R Us gold N64 tested working console and controller. There's several. A gold one isn't going to completely break the bank.
Yeah, depends on whose bank.
Well, I'm speaking high level, like compared to other N64s.
Like a jungle green.
Well, yeah, in comparison. Now there's 0 bids and 6 days left. And they may be overreaching on this one. New listing. And it includes the box, and it's N64 Toys R Us Gold, 2 controllers. They're $2,500 buy it now. That's a bit much.
Yeah.
Compared to
Yeah, that's like I said. That's that's the thing. Is some of the other prices I've seen is just absolutely disgusting what they're wanting.
like here's a buy it now with the box. It's a Japanese N64 Gold, 200. That's way more reasonable. And then some of these open ones, and that's the thing. I'd just go for an open one. With a lot of this stuff, because they had such a large amount of them, if you can get the Japanese version, it's way cheaper. And that's what I've learned about like Super Nintendo games. Like all of our rare gem, stupid expensive Super Nintendo games over here, you can get for a fraction of the cost if you buy the Japanese version. Now, granted, I mean, it's just purely to collect because obviously, if it's an RPG, you're not going to be able to read Chrono Trigger.
I can't read Japanese.
But you could get Chrono Trigger like
Learn.
crazy cheap.
I need babble.
If I wasn't so old, I'd consider it. But my mind can't learn a new language at this
Hey,
point.
Shag's doing it.
No, Shag's learning just enough so that he can go over and visit.
not play a 40-hour RPG.
Nah, man, you can do it.
Here is a bid going for the N64 Fantastic Jungle Green console and controller with accessories. 2 days left, and it's currently at $179.
That's not horrible. Now it may skyrocket, at the end.
In 2 days. There's already 13 bids on it.
Ooh, yeah, that's a pissing match you don't want to get in. Let's see here. I'm pulling up. I don't know when they're going to be available.
There's the link for that.
If they're available, I swear if they're available now, I'm going to, nope, check it out on Kickstarter. They're still not out there. So let me see if I can get this to work. And I will share my screen. Share screen. Select window. So this is what I've been looking at through Stone Age Gamer. And they're not available. I have set to notify, but that's what I would go for. I'll just replace my existing shell, and it's a half jungle green, but you got this awesome 2-tone black there. That's what I'm looking at as soon as they become available. I selected notify. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but that's nice. I mean, look at this.
Yep, Pokemon.
That one on the opposite end there, is that like a classic SNES looking? No, it's just white.
There's a full kind of jungle. Love that. That one's pretty nice too.
It is pretty nice. Ugh.
That one?
Yeah. Burn it.
That's
probably
right
what
your alley, Joe.
That's more of an NES, not S.
It's
but
more
NES.
I like that one.
Yeah, if they ever release these, I'm going to. I'm considering it because I'll finally have my Ultra 64. So, with that being said, Does anybody have anything else for tonight?
I think I'm
I
good.
think so.
Okay. Well, hey, we will be back. I'm glad to be back. It's been fun shooting the breeze, doing what we normally do. Obviously we're so out of practice, we forgot the thing we're supposed to do in the first 5 minutes. We're supposed to be like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Why do we always think of that at the end?
I don't know. I keep saying I'm going to make like a checklist and have it kind of off to the side. And it's kind of almost like a guide for the episode, and I just never remember to do it. Now, granted, to get us going again, we kind of shot this one from the hip. But maybe we'll try to remember to do that for the next.
Quite literally,
I would say it's because we're old. But then, what's Zesty's excuse?
I ain't in charge,
and he can't read.
Yeah, I can't read.
4.
And he's thinking about his next rampage through Chick-fil-A.
4.
I don't know. I'm fighting crabs.
What?
I'm playing the crab race game.
Do you want to rethink that last
moment? So much dropping them panties as often as you do. It might be
crabs.
Nah, I'm playing what is it called? Freaking the crab rave game.
Well, that's going on shorts.
It was meant to sound like that as a joke. I just didn't.
Butter.
Yeah.
Dip them crabs and butter.
But I didn't mean to say it like that.
Well, you did.
And that's what happened. Well, on that note, I believe
I meant
we will
to
call
say
it.
it like that. That was just a joke.
Yeah. Zesty's fighting crabs.
Yep, fighting crabs.
What happens when you're a Chick-fil-A panty dropper?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta fight off them crabs.
Yep.
No,
on that
I wouldn't
note,
go that far. That's just kind of mean. poor folks down at the down at the Chick-fil-A. I don't think. I would hope that they're not all biting off the crabs or something.
Oh, but me.
It depends on where the Chick-fil-A
I have
is.
to fight them
They get too close to you, just hit them with this shampoo.
Oh shit! Sign us off before we get caught again.
On that note, we'll catch you folks on the next episode. I gotta find the thing for the credits. Have a good one. We'll see you next episode.
The 8-Bit Hillbillies, featuring Chief RGS, Jannergan, 6-Inch Turkey. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe.